Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land, or they will inherit the earth. That is the next beatitude that we want to look at this week, with it being Thursday. But what is it to be meek? This is in Matthew chapter 5, verse 5. It's the next beatitude on the list. Blessed, Jesus says, blessed are the meek. But what exactly does it mean to be meek? And really, when you dig into the word, it's sometimes hard to get an exact definition. I think it really, there's a lot of thought that goes into the idea of being meek. Being meek is that of, having a quiet spirit, that of being patient, that of being gentle. I think self-control has a lot to do with it. Someone I read one time defined meekness as power under control. So really talking about self-control and self-restraint, having control over our emotions, our thoughts, what we say, what we do. That power under control is, sure, we have the ability and often have the impulses and the emotions and the fleshly desires to say, do, and think certain things, but meekness comes in that we are going to control ourselves. We are going to overcome those things. And also a part of meekness is that of submissiveness, of submitting to others, a willingness, really humility. I think the word humility comes into play. That we're not selfish. We don't make it all about self. That I'm not self-willed and I've got to have things my way, but I'm willing for the better of everybody. If I need to, I will yield, I will submit, I will not demand or insist on my own way. And so really the idea of being meek is that of being someone who is humble, someone who is not selfish, someone who is willing to serve, someone who is gentle and patient, even when being provoked. I think that is a big idea of meekness, because a lot of times we are going to be provoked by various things. But meekness is we are in control of our bodies, we are in control of our emotions, ourselves. We can keep ourselves restrained. Jesus is the greatest example of meekness. Jesus was meek. Jesus was selfless. Jesus had himself under control, even when Jesus was provoked. The scriptures tell us in the Gospels and even in later letters that Jesus, even though he was reviled, he was mocked, he was physically abused, Jesus did not retaliate. Jesus did not seek his own. And so if we are going to be the blessed, the joyous in the Lord, well, then what we've got to work on is this being meek. I've got to work on being meek, being humble, being selfless, being a servant, being willing to do what is good for others, to truly love God with all my heart and to love my neighbor as myself. And so maybe this is something we need to be thinking more on and working on. We need to all examine ourselves, examine our hearts, examine our lives. And let's make sure we are being meek like Jesus, so that we can have that hope, that joy, that blessing, that inheritance with the Lord. Let's work on that today and tomorrow and the next day. Let's strive to be poor in spirit. Let's strive to be those who know in our mourning will be comforted, and let's strive to be those who are meek and lowly in heart. God bless.